and cattle again, and those are kind of the two entities we have on the farm.
Andrew Bagley, Macoupin County. We'll talk more with Andrew tomorrow about Bagley Farm Meat Market in Edwardsville, opening this week. Very excited for that family. We'll have more on the RFD Livestock Report.
Hey, good Wednesday to you. It's time once again for RFD Illinois. I'm DeLoss Yankee.
I'm Rita Frazier. How you doing?
We're doing okay. We certainly will hear from folks who aren't doing as well later in the program, those that are much closer to high water.
Right.
And have been and will be, turns out.
Right. You know, you have another level of appreciation for those who work on any drainage districts.
Yep.
Especially those along the rivers and keeping the levees, well, like in Hancock County, which we'll talk to Joe Zumwalt in just a sec. They worked 3 days with 12 to 15 bulldozers to push up the levee. That's the Hunt Lima Lake levee district there.
Wow.
And so while we were talking to other folks, they were busy in the bulldozers.
Wow. Pushing
up the levee, which is at 27 feet, and they had to push it even higher. They made a call over the weekend, and they went for it.
Boy. Just, you look on the other side of that levee, and you see that water like that, and it's just such a powerful, ominous creature like that.
Right.
Historic levels on the Illinois River as well. Hopefully, can we have some optimism in here? We talked to Bryce Anderson yesterday on RFD Today, and he offered some optimism once we get this rain out of the way on Thursday. So hopefully some better days are coming. Stay tuned. Plenty to come here on RFD Illinois.
All Ag.
All Illinois.
All Now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All Ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
When it comes to our members, Chris Magnuson connects rural routes for you. Chris leads Illinois Farm Bureau's efforts to provide valuable information to our members. He has spent 2 decades with IFB. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
I grew up on a farm with corn, soybeans, and Christmas trees. I've been in ag communication for 3 decades now. My greatest satisfaction has always remained the same, to serve our members.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Now the easy and fastest way to order ag parts is with Sloan Express, America's ag parts supplier. Simply put, Sloan Express is a lower price alternative to original manufacturer parts. And now, free shipping on orders over $195 right to your front door. Plus, we offer free shipping to 20 Sloan locations. Enter code RFD10 at checkout and save 10%. Get your free catalog online at sloanex.com or call today.
Welcome back to RFD Illinois. I'm DeLoss Yankee, looking at river levels thanks to a website from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, where you still find areas, well, down in Chester, for example, yesterday, the river was 15 feet more than flood stage, and in St. Louis, almost 11 feet more than flood stage, and in Grafton, 14 feet higher than flood stage. Then you look to the Illinois River. Blake Roderick is manager of Pike and Scott County Farm Bureaus. He says attention has quickly turned there because all the cases, Hardin, Florence, Valley City, all 12 feet more than flood stage, while Florence at 43 feet, breaking a record from the flood of 1943.
Folks were prepared for the river, the water that was coming, and now they've got to redouble their efforts to add more height to some of these sod levees, which they do through they build a fence basically on top of the levee, and they secure it with plastic and sandbags to keep a little bit of water out. It's not going to be it's not going to do much good if the water level gets too high on the boards, but it will keep low levels of water above the level of the levee. Will keep it in the river.
Blake Grodrick, manager of Pike and Scott County Farm Bureaus, talking about water levels. He says could go a full week of more than record stages on the Illinois. We'll hear from Rita talking about folks and the work they're doing on the Mississippi later in the program. We need a break, especially with only 10% of the corn planted as of Sunday, according to Ag Statistics. That might actually be coming our way. Spoke yesterday on RFD Today with Bryce Anderson, DTN's ag meteorologist.
Fortunately, this pattern that we have been laboring under for quite some time, with a large round of cold air troughing out over the Canadian prairies, and then another active trough off the west coast, keeping things on a very unsettled situation for us. And then this powerful ridge that's led to hot conditions in the southeast. That whole setup is going to change over the next week to 10 days, where we have more troughing over the eastern United States and west to the Mississippi Valley, and then ridging developing over the northern Rockies and the Canadian prairies. So that should finally dry things out for us and allow temperatures to maybe still be on the cool side, but at least showing a little bit more of a seasonal tendency, and it should improve things for being able to get a little bit more field work done, and we certainly could use that.
Bryce Anderson, DTN's ag meteorologist. We'll hear more from Dan Hicks a little bit later in the program. May even be time to start thinking about Prevent Plant, although it's still a few weeks away, but good thing to be prepared for this year. Marty McDonald is Prevent Plant expert for Country Financial.
The best thing that I could say is don't assume anything. If you have a question, if you've never been through this, and just because something works for your neighbor Charlie doesn't necessarily it's going to work for you. Or something that he can do, don't assume you can do that also. Because people's APHs are different. People's histories are different. Prevent Plant is a very hard thing to just give broad advice on. Every farm is different. Every policy is different. It's very specialized coverage, so if you have questions, get the answers for your specific operation.
Marty McDonald, Country Senior Crop Office and Field Claims Adjuster. The corn date for Prevent Plant will be June 5, except for those 7 far southern Illinois counties. That date will be May 31. And Farm Week's Stan Grant will have a full article about this in next week's edition of Farm Week. Stay tuned. Rita's up next on RFD, Illinois.
Are you preparing for planting season? We don't mean to be a pest, but here's a few things you need to know before you grow. The Illinois Department of Agriculture now requires special local needs labels, including new restrictions for the use of herbicide dicamba on top of soybeans in Illinois for the 2019 growing season. Did you know these additional restrictions go beyond federally approved labels? Remember, the label is the law. To find out more about these Illinois-specific labels, visit ilfb.org/label-aware.
Attention corn farmers. Your corn checkoff dollars are working with the U.S. Meat Export Federation to grow red meat export volumes. Because when we're exporting beef, we're also exporting corn. The beef industry consumes 28% of all corn fed to livestock, plus additional corn in the form of DDGs, a co-product of ethanol production. Now that's what we call working an angle. Your checkoff is working corn from all angles. Because of the Illinois Corn Marketing Board, your profitability is our bottom line. A message from the Illinois Corn Checkoff.
We're back here on RFD, Illinois. On a Wednesday, I'm Rita Frazier. We did focus on the Mississippi River in talking to Joe Zumwalt yesterday in Hancock County. He and his father working hard in the drainage district, the Hunt Lima Lake Drainage District, and near their hometown of Warsaw. And they talked a little bit about their thoughts for the week ahead. Now, when you talked about that potential next crest and sometime in the next week, what are you thinking as far as the charts that you've been watching and so on? What are you thinking for that next crest?
Yeah, if you look at the hydrographs right now, it shows the Mississippi River on the decline, and it is. It has come down about 2.5 feet from its last crest over the weekend. I would anticipate, if we get 2 to 3 or 4 inches in the Iowa City to Des Moines area, that we could definitely see another 24 to 25 foot crest. That's just my own speculation. I am by no means an expert. That's just my observation of watching the river and where rainfall happens. So that will put us back. That would actually be, back up just a little bit. The crest that we had over the past weekend was the third highest crest they've had on the Mississippi. So that would put us right back in that territory again. And just not a sound position to be in. And
you're thinking, again, back to the weekend time frame, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, usually if we get those types of rains there, and depending on what kind of rainfall we get in our immediate area, it helps to sustain the water that's there. So the river would probably quit falling and be level for a day or two and then start to rise again if we get that rain to the north. So, yeah, I think after this rainfall event, we probably have 3 or 4 days before we saw the next crest, would be my speculation.
We've talked to other folks in the Farm Bureau system especially about, do you need help? How do they help if they want to? Are there always hands that are needed?
If we get to the event where we have that crest, there will be a call for help. At this point, most of our preparation is mechanical. We actually are having some filled sandbags being hauled in today, and I just heard about them. I'm not exactly sure where they're coming from, but I know there are some sandbagging efforts, taking place along the Illinois River because their crest is a little bit higher as compared to previous crests, and so they're in a little bit more of what I'd say emergency mode, but certainly if we get this rainfall, there will be a need for assistance along the Mississippi, all the way from Burlington all the way south through the Snide district there south of Quincy.
And back over to the Illinois, what are you thinking there as far as crest coming up?
Their crest predictions, while ours were in the third highest crest that we had there last weekend, what I've looked at on hydrographs along the Illinois is that their crests were going to be a little bit higher, not record crests, but closer to their record crests. And so they really have some concerns, especially if this rainfall does come in the areas they're talking. They're going to have some potentially heavy rainfall amounts right at the time that they're cresting. I know through that Beardstown area, they're cresting pretty much as we speak, I believe, here the midweek here. And so that's the worst time to get a 2 to 3 inch rain is right when that crest is rolling through.
What else didn't I ask that you think is pertinent? What's on your mind today?
Well, a couple things, and it kind of is about the issue of flooding and river maintenance in general. Us in Farm Bureau and a number of other organizations, commodity groups, have been working to try to get continued improvements on the Mississippi River, not just locks and dams, but levee improvements and flood protection. And we're seeing these flood events happen more and more. And the biggest impact that is affecting all farmers across the Midwest now is the reduced commerce via the Mississippi and Illinois rivers. The elevators here haven't been able to ship grain, and if we go another month without being able to ship grain, we're going to be in positions where these elevators can't get prepared for the next harvest because they simply aren't going to be able to ship out the amount of grain they need to prepare for the 2019 harvest. So we're starting to see, and I think that's an issue that's going to trickle down through the summer even as floodwaters recede, is the impacts that reduced infrastructure maintenance, I guess you would say, has on commerce for agriculture, for coal, for anything that's transported on the river. And the other issue that I think we're going to see as the floodwaters recede is whether or not what has occurred here becomes an Illinois or a federal emergency, because all these drainage districts and everyone who is doing this flood fight and preparing for these waters are spending money to try to maintain a system that is more than just protecting our acres. It's maintaining a national transportation structure. And so there's a great deal of money being spent on flood protection, emergency flood protection, that we hope that in the end we can get some assistance on.
Back to the fact that you said that most people have evacuated, so they're stored grain, because, given what you've said, has that been a tough place to find a place to put that grain?
It has been. So we sit in between Warsaw and Quincy, Illinois, and our primary, of course, is grain processor in Quincy, grain processor in Keokuk, Iowa. But our immediate elevator is Ursa Farmers Co-op, which operates 4 river terminals. 3 of them are completely full. Obviously, the river closed for winter. It opened back up for maybe a couple weeks, so several of those elevators had a time to load a few barges, but not very many, and that space immediately filled back up. And so as we were hauling out, we had been hauling as steady as we could when the elevators were available. When this past crest came in, we had about 25,000 bushel of crop left in grain structures in the bottoms that we ended up having to haul to about 30 extra miles to find a place for it, to an inland elevator that will in turn have to truck it back to the river at some point in time. So there definitely is, in my opinion, soon going to be a bottleneck, especially with that Illinois River closed now. There's going to start to be some bottlenecks as far as grain movement. The other aspect we haven't really discussed is the impacts of rail transportation when the river has been up. Numerous rail bridges and rail lines near the Mississippi have been closed, and so there's been some real challenges for the rail transportation industry, not just with ag commodities, but with getting all types of products from east to west and west to east. So there's been some real issues with the rail transportation as well.
Joe Zumwalt, Hancock County. Read more about the River Watch on farmweeknow.com. Right now we'll break for markets and weather.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Wednesday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all ending Tuesday slightly higher. May corn closing at $3.58, up 2 1/4. July corn up 2 1/4, $3.66 1/2. September corn up 2 1/4, $3.74. May beans closing at $8.17 3/4, up 1/4. July beans up 1/2, $8.30 3/4, and August beans $8.37. Up 1/2. May wheat closing at $4.30 1/2, up 2 1/2. July wheat up 2 1/4, $4.39 1/2. September wheat $4.48, up 2 1/2. May bean meal $2.88.40, down $3.40. May bean oil $26.81, down 3 cents. In current electronic overnight trading, July corn up 1 1/4, September corn up 1 1/4, and December corn up 1 1/2, $3.85 1/4. July beans in the overnight up 3, August beans up 3, and September beans $8.46, up 3 1/2. July wheat in the overnight up 1/2, September wheat unchanged, December wheat unchanged, $4.62 1/2. In the outside markets, July Brent crude oil $69.88, that's down $1.36 a barrel. The June gold contract up $3.10 this morning, $12.88.70. At the livestock market from Tuesday, May lean hogs $83.05, up 67 cents. June lean hogs down half a dollar, $89.25. June live cattle $112.27 unchanged. August live cattle $109.70 or $109.07, up 67 cents. May feeder cattle $137.30, up 127. August feeder cattle up 125. 145.60. Cash livestock at the Fairview Sale Barn this week. Steers 126 the top. Illinois direct barrels and gilts trading steady on Tuesday at 51 to 57. And I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Dan Hicks from Freeze Otis Weather with the early morning weather update on the RFD Radio Network for this Wednesday morning. Yesterday was another day with a wide range of temperatures across the Midwest and also here in Illinois. Daytime highs ranged from the upper 50s in some northern areas to the low 80s in some far southern parts of the state. Greatest coverage of scattered showers and thunderstorms the past 24 hours has occurred in the central and northern part of the state. Most locations did not pick up major rainfall, as heaviest rains continue to stay to the west of Illinois. The current system over the Plain States will be lifting out to the northeast over the next 24 to 36 hours. This will bring increasing coverage of rain and thunderstorms eastward across the Midwest today through the day Thursday. Greatest rainfall across Illinois will likely occur later today into Thursday, with some 1 to 2 inch rainfall amounts likely over much of the state and an increasing potential for some scattered severe thunderstorms late this afternoon into Thursday. Temperatures will be near to above normal across much of the state today once again, with some cooler readings in the far north. Cooler temperatures will spread southeastward into the Midwest, as well as some drier weather late this week. Temperatures will cool down below normal across the region by Friday. Looking ahead into the weekend and early next week, temperatures will average near to a few degrees below normal across Illinois, and that trend will likely continue into the 6 to 10 day time frame. Another system will bring some shower chances back into the state this weekend. Right now, though, it does look like most of the weekend rainfall will be scattered and light, and the trend for lighter rainfall looks like it will continue next week into the 6 to 10 day time frame, with near to below normal 6 to 10 day rainfall across quite a bit of the Midwest. Beyond that point, it does look like a wetter pattern for the 11 to 15 day time frame, with near to above normal rainfall from Illinois westward. I'm Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather.
From midnight snacks to holiday gatherings, food is a part of our culture that brings us together every day. To make sure we all have food on our tables, Illinois farmers are going beyond planting crops and raising animals. We're making sure the wildlife that helps our food grow has homes too. To learn more about conservation efforts, visit ilfarmersconserve.com. Preserving our water, protecting our land, providing our food.
This message brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau.
Farm, family, food. Those three words best describe Illinois Farm Bureau. Farm. For 100 years, Farm Bureau in Illinois has represented and served the men and women who make Illinois one of the top food-producing states. Family. At the heart of rural Illinois are traditional farm families who work together through Illinois Farm Bureau. And food. Farm Bureau families are proud to grow the healthy food they provide their families and yours. Farm, family, food. The heart of Farm Bureau in Illinois.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Daniel Grant connects rural routes for you. With more than 2 decades of reporting under his belt, Dan is the go-to source for farmers when it comes to commodities. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
I grew up on a grain and livestock farm near Roseville in Warren County. What I love about my job is working with people, traveling across Illinois, and visiting farms along the way.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Warmer weather means a longer honey-do list. Your county farm bureau can help you stay on top of your project list and save you money along the way. A Farm Bureau membership offer includes discounts on equipment and supplies from Grainger, plus free shipping on all standard Grainger products. Browse thousands of items from landscaping equipment to power tools. Anything you need to get the job done, Grainger has it. Not a Farm Bureau member? Call us at 309-557-2689 or visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
That's all the time we have for RFD Illinois on a Wednesday.
Hats off and good thoughts to those who live in Warsaw, which is in Hancock County. That's the home of Joe Zumwalt. All the best.
Population 1,600, and no time for much sleep in situations like this. The work that's going in is admirable by all means. Sponsored by Country Financial. Your farm is your family's legacy and part of your hometown heritage. While you work sun up to sundown to get the job done, we're here protecting the things you love every step of the way. Country Financial. Learn more by visiting country.com.